podcast is going to be about the things that we got over in life. And I have a few questions from other people as well. And since you have submitted as the person who has got over the thing, I
Yeah.
would like to know your journey. What is the thing that you got over, and what is your perspective about all of this right now?
Um. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just
So you
started
want me to go
thinking.
ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Basically, things that I've gotten over is abandonment issues and closing relationships that have served their purpose in my life, and just knowing like um, I always keep like a little note on my mirror that says you can't reach for the stars if you're still holding on to the grass. So it's learning to let go. And I had to learn to let go of people, places that no longer served me and that were not part of me growing as a person. And the fear of not being with someone or the fear of someone not loving me. So, like, my last relationship, I overbought because I thought, like, if I buy this for you, if I buy that for you, it'll make you love me more or it'll make you stay. And in all reality, it basically you can buy them the world, but if that's not your person and if they don't want to stay, they're not going to stay.
Yeah.
So I learned that the hard way, but you know, everyone's either a lesson or a blessing.
So, do you want to talk about this relationship in particular? If we want to like delve into the details of how you got over it, or would it be some other relationship that you would want to talk about?
And what it doesn't matter. I'm an open book. So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about this particular relationship, how would you say like how did it start? What was the way that you got attracted, and like the journey? How did it start? At
So how we met on social media and we lived a distance from each other. So I broke one of my rules because I don't necessarily do long term relationships if I can't see you. Like that was just one of my rules back then or whatever. Like if I can't see you all the time, then like I don't know how this is gonna work because we all have free will to do whatever we want. And a lot of people are not they don't live their life with integrity. So I always say like do whatever you're like be okay with your actions and be the person that you are when no one's watching. Be that same person out in public too. So,
yeah.
like, if you're a good person, be a good person at home when there's no cameras or there's nobody watching you to see if you're a good egg or whatever. Be that same person all the time. And with him, I met him. I ignored the red flags because, in the beginning, when it's new, it's like a shiny toy. And it's like, oh, I want to talk to you every day, all day. I miss you. I love you. This and that, And then it was like, um, as time progressed a little bit more and the phone calls got less, the answering the phone calls got less, the text messages got less, or it's like I just started seeing a pattern. And I was like, hey, if you have somebody or you're entertaining someone else, let me know because I don't compete with people. Because if you chose someone else, then you need to be with that person because clearly that's where you want to be. And it was like, no, 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 no. I love you. I'm just working on some things and I'm gonna come there. I'm gonna be with you. We're gonna get married. We're gonna do this, this, and that. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. I believe you. And time went on some more. Still the inconsistency. And then he showed up, spent a few days. Then, as soon as he got back home, back to the BS. So I let that go on for maybe a year. And then just the last time, I was just like, you know what? This is going to be my last time seeing him. And
Mhm.
when he got on the plane to go home, I packed his stuff up that was at my house and I took it to the post office and I mailed it back to him. And I was like, I wrote him a letter, told him how he made me feel, and I wasn't dealing with it anymore. And I mailed the stuff back and I went through the healing But it was the worst because I truly, genuinely thought like he was the one, but he was
Mm,
not the one. It was just a major lesson in my life because if I wouldn't have went through that, I wouldn't be how I am today.
mhm.
So he was like literally the straw that broke the camel's back.
And like once you had done this, and even throughout the year, you must have had like a lot of moments where you were thinking that this is the last time I'm gonna deal with this, and but it must have
Yeah.
taken some time to like actually get there.
Yeah, it took a year.
That part, like,
Yeah, it took a year. So like it took a year and a half, I'll say. Because it was like, you know, he would come make things right, be cool, be nice, be attentive, stuff like that. And then after he would go back home, then slowly he would slip back into that same routine, or it's like inconsistent phone calls, inconsistent text messages. And it's like, I, I didn't sign up for this. And then he would come back with this grand, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you like that. I'm going through a lot and blah, this happened and that happened. And I go, but if I'm your partner,
hmm,
then why are you not talking to me about it, but you're talking to everyone else about it? And I was like, so I'm not your partner, clearly. I was like, I'm a convenience for you. I'm not the person that you're building a life with. No, 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 you're overthinking. And I was like, overthinking? Okay. I was like, but when I overthink, I said, that's when I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's. And I'm just like putting everything together, like, okay, well, on this day, you said X, Y, and Z. And then 2 weeks later, you said ABC. So
yeah.
I love like detective shows and stuff like that. So it's like I'm always trying to figure out the clue or figure out like how this happened or why it happened. And during that time with the relationship, leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back, I was like, do I want to keep doing this? Or like, do I want to get off on the next stop? And the last time I saw him, I was like, this is definitely the last stop because I would well let them keep on playing in my face. And I was like, don't do that to me because I don't deserve it. I'm good to you, but you're like horrible to me. So I moved on. And I think like his thing was the ghosting. And he would talk to me, then don't talk to me for about 3 or 4 or 5 days. And like I'm like calling, texting, calling, texting. I was like, you know what? He sees me calling him. He sees me texting him. He's choosing not to answer. So why am I working myself up in a tensy to vie for his love or vie for his attention? And then like he would throw me a phone, hey babe, I'm sorry. And then here I am like, oh, he finally messaged me because I didn't know myself for it.
Yeah.
And so it's like once I got to the point where I'm like, are you gonna keep disrespecting yourself and putting yourself down for someone who could care less about you? Because if they cared, they would show it. And my grandfather always told me, like, people make time for things that are important to them.
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what? That's true. I was like, because, no matter what, there's people, they run multi-billion-dollar companies. But if their person texts them, they'll stop in the middle of a meeting and they'll text that person back, hey, in a meeting, because it takes about 3 seconds to send a text message.
Yeah.
So if you're too busy for, I'll call you back or I'll get back, I'm a little busy, then you're too busy for me because that means I'm not a priority to you. So that was it.
So, like in all of this, was there like one point or one action from him that made you realize that this is it, or was it like a continuation of a lot of events that really stuck?
It was a build up. It was a build up because it was a build up is because you're in your delusion of I can make it work or next time I see him I'll do this or I'll try to do that or I'll buy him this or I'll buy him or her that, whatever.
Mm,
And with him it was like every time he came, it was a shopping spree. Like decorate the house nice or whatever, just to show him like I appreciate him, like it's a celebration, like we're hanging out, or you're finally gonna come. But it's like, okay, well, I had a good time this weekend. I'm gonna take everything you bought me back with me where I live. So then that told me like, why are you taking everything if your plan is to move here? So you were never moving here to begin with. Because why would you take things that I bought you so you have when you're here? And then when you come, you never have the stuff that I buy you. So I was like, you're playing games with me. And so I just sat there and I just was like, you know what? Check this, check that. I was like, one strike, two strikes. All right, I kind of kept giving them chance after chance and more chances than I should have. And so when I got to the last strike, I was like, that is it. I disrespected myself for the last time. And this is the last time. So even when he went back, he was like, I'll call you as soon as I land. But like I have a flight tracker. So I know you landed and then you just went 4 hours after. So that was really the final straw. I was like going to Walmart, getting a box, and I was like throwing this stuff in the box. I was like looking at my watch. I'm like, I'm going to the post office today, So I mailed the stuff back and I was like, I'm done with that. And I just started dancing around, like, just trying to get it out of my system. But like I cried, I broke down a lot. But I knew like I deserved better. And you can't make somebody treat you better if you keep allowing them to get away with the BS.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true. Yes. And like once you sent his stuff back, was there a moment where you reached back again, or was it like the last time that you ever talked, or how did
Oh
that?
no, he called he called when he got the box and he was like, you trying to embarrass me? It was more about him. And it wasn't about nothing about what I wrote in the letter about how he made me feel. And I was constantly telling him, like, listen, you're making me feel like I'm just around for a good time, not a long time. And he was like, oh, you're overthinking, you're overreacting. And I was like, no, I'm telling you what you're doing. And now you're trying to sit here and like be like, no, 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 you really didn't see what you think you're seeing, And I just like, there's no reasoning with a person who doesn't see things your way. And so he called. He wanted to argue about how I made him feel by sending him his things back and telling him I'm not dealing with it. Not like, I'm sorry, I apologize, let's make it work. It was about how I made him look to his family and friends. And that's when I knew I was like, there's no saving this. And I was like, because you didn't even take accountability. And had you taken accountability or had you been truthful, maybe it could have been salvaged. But once you argued with me about why I mailed your clothes and stuff back to you and told you how I felt or whatever and how it made you feel and not about how I felt, I was like, I'm done with you, bro. You got some growing up to do. And I was like, hey, I was like, I don't wish you any ill will. I wish you well and I hope you heal. I was like, because I can't keep hurting myself. And because you're hurting, I was like, and you're bleeding on me, and I'm not the one that cut you, and I'm not the one that hurt you, but you're taking it out on me like I'm the one that did it to you. So I was like, I can't do that to myself anymore.
Yeah. And like once you were done, like how long ago was this?
A year.
A year back.
Yeah, yeah.
And have you gone out with other people after that since then, or has it been like a,
No, I took that time to heal. I've been taking that time to heal, process feelings, and just basically reestablish my boundaries as far as like it comes with people and relationships and what I'm willing to deal with and what I'm not willing to deal with. And like I don't ask for much. I'm not a materialistic person because I can buy whatever for myself. So it's never about money. The things that are near and dear to me is your time and being consistent in your communication. So if you can't do those basic things with me, then there's no sense in wasting my time and you wasting your time because those are all things that are free. Like you don't have to go anywhere to like
Yeah.
spend time with somebody. And you need to get to know someone instead of like most people I don't look like most people how they imagine their dream wife or their arm trophy to be,
Mhm.
you know? So it's like the guy, he's all about image, you know, and oh, well, I want to have the Instagram model, like no shade on them or whatever, because that's what they
Mhm.
do. That's their life. That's their path. But because I don't look like everyone else, I don't dress like everyone else, then you read the front part of the book and the last part of the book, but you didn't read the book. So you just made up your own idea of what you thought you wanted me to be, and I didn't fit in your you know, in your box of what I wanted to you wanted me to be. So it was like, whatever. Like throw caution to the wind. I just think like people judge books by covers and not
Mhm.
actually get to know the person. Or they go about, well, what will my friends think? Or what will my mom think? Or what will my family think? And at the end of the day, those people are not in a relationship with you. You're in a relationship with the person. So you have to be okay with the person because you have to spend your life with that person,
Mhm.
not your family. So like, you know, you can't worry about their opinions unless that your mate is a bad person. And sometimes when you're in love, you know, you have rose colored glasses on. So you don't see the BS that everybody else sees until you take those glasses off. And
Yeah.
so it's just like and then you get to the point when you're after that, you're mad, you're pissed off because
Mhm.
you're like, I literally sat here and let this person do me like this. And like, I know better. And like, why would I do that? And so it's like you get mad at yourself. It's just like the stages of grief, you know? Because you go
Yeah.
through all of those emotions when you're processing and you're healing. But it's not fair, like moving on to any other relationships that
Yeah.
I take whatever I went through with that person and put it off on the next person because they don't deserve that. They're a new person, new slate, new everything. And you don't bring that past into a new relationship. So I'm not saying like I'm 100% healed, but I'm 95% healed. I still have my days where I'm like, you know, this son of a bitch, you know, but but then I'm like, you know what? God bless him. You know, he was a blessing. He wasn't a blessing, but he was a for real lesson for me. And just basically, I don't hate him. I wish him well and everything. And if I won't ever speak to him again. I know that much. But if he ever saw like something or somebody ever went back and told him anything, I wish him well. And I hope whatever he now goes through in life, I hope he heals from it. But it's just like I'm not that type of person, like, "Oh, I hope you die, I'm not like that.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think I'm I've never been like a person who when relationships are gonna end, everybody has an
Yeah.
expiration date with the relationship, whatever kind of relationship it is, because they're showing you what you need to do, and you're showing them what they need to do. So, I just look at it that way. I wish him well. I thank him for being a catalyst to my healing, but it's just like, I wouldn't put my foot down because I was a doormat, and I would have just kept on letting him just walk all over me, treat me badly. I buy him more things thinking he'd stay, and that wasn't the
Mhm.
case because you can buy people whatever. If they don't wanna stay, they can't. They won't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like for myself and for a lot of people that I know, I've seen that this kind of a relationship becomes sort of like a pattern. Like you date someone and they behave like that, and then you heal from that relationship, and then when you start dating someone again, and you at the end of it you realize that it's basically the same person that you dated before, like
Right? Because
emotionally unavailable and not there for you, and sort of like not following through, like that you said that there is like time and commitment that a person can give, but you realize that you've been in like 3 or 4 relationships and somehow at the end the core issue remains the same. So do you feel like
Uh,
that has also happened for you, or is it like a
yeah.
different relationship?
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's so basically what you're we're all we're all spirits having a human experience. So we're here on the school of earth, technically. So it's just like when you're dealing with the same type of person, it's the same spirit in different forms, like different
Yeah,
bodies. So it's just like if you're always dating the drug dealer or the emotionally avoidant or the person who the love bomber or
yeah,
whatever, if you're always dating that type of person, then say like you say there's John, Billy, and David, John emotionally avoidant, has mommy issues, and doesn't feel like therapy is for him or whatever. You break up with John, you go through your little mourning period, then you meet Billy. Billy's nice in the beginning. He's everything like, and then you tell him your story of like everything that John did to you. And he's like, oh, I would never do that to you. And then you're
yeah,
dating everything fine for a little bit. Then boom, Billy starts acting like John. And you're like,
yeah,
I just told you what I went through. Like, why would you do the same thing?
yeah,
And then you get to David or whoever I say, then you get to him. And then he's like, oh, I would never treat you how those two guys
yeah,
treated you. And time goes on, and then boom, he's like he's the big boss of David and Billy because now he's seeing both of those traumas from them, and he's just put it all into one. So you're like, what the? I just told you, but like you're like, not again. Like I don't want to go through this again. And you're like, why do I keep picking these people? But
yeah,
what you should be asking yourself is, what is the lesson that I need to learn from these type of people? So if like it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. So all I always say is like, um, my last person, um, he happened for me because I was basically I had abandonment issues because everybody, growing up, it's like somebody's always leaving. Somebody's always leaving. And it's like, is it me? And like, am I the problem? But it's like, until you realize like you need to sit with yourself.
mhm,
And it's like, I always just thought like my work was basically on me providing for somebody or spending on them or feeling like I can buy their pain away. And
yeah,
so that lesson with my past person that made me look in the mirror and do some self reflecting and some self evaluations was like, okay, well, my last four relationships, all these guys are the same. Like, what am I not getting? And it's like, one, I buy them whatever,
yeah,
and I'll self sabotage myself because I feel like if I buy them whatever, they'll stay. But then in their minds, maybe they have unhealed wounds too, and they're marrying me. So it's like you can't do like I'm showing you what you need to fix, you're showing me what I need to fix. So um if I'm not learning the lesson, guess what? A year may go down, 2 years may go down. If I didn't take the time to heal and reevaluate myself and realize like I need to love myself first and quit giving my love away or the love that I want to everybody else. I can still be loving and compassion, but I need to have boundaries.
yeah,
And so if I didn't do that and put my foot down and stand up for myself, guess what? The next guy I meet is going to be exactly like everybody else. But once I put boundaries and I stand on those boundaries, then, you know, you're not going to put yourself in that situation. Then you're going to welcome in healthy relationships, healthy like friendships, whatever kind of relationship it is.
yeah,
And that, so it's like you have to, if you're a person who always gives in and just lets people walk all over you, guess what? They're going to keep walking all over into you too. Say no more. And you have to say, like, it ends with me or enough is enough. And if you don't get to that point, you'll just keep on go in a constant loop of meeting the same type of person in a different body until
Yeah.
you learn that lesson.
And like, so since you've been working on yourself and you have understood like the boundaries part, so now whenever you go out and date, is there something like specific in your mind that you're going to check or maybe understand before you go on a date with someone? Hi, Rocco.
Hey,
Hey,
how
how
you
are you?
doing? Fine.
Um, so before I go on a date, like it, I look at it like a job application. So like why do you want to work here? You know, but not necessarily like that. But just we have some type of common ground and like keep the physical out of it initially. So then that way you can get to know each other because you can be with somebody and everything can be great physically, but you don't know that person internally. So if you wait on that, get to know the person, I think that's a lot better. If I go on a date with them, let's have a good time. Let's get to know each other. Like you don't have to tell me like, go in kindergarten, you know, Mary Beth or Sally Sue or Jeremy, whoever. Oh, they, you know, whatever. It's not a therapy session, but it's just you being no pressure. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah. So Rocco, hi. Sorry, we were in the middle of a
Hi.
conversation,
No, you're
and
fine. Sorry I'm late.
yeah, yeah, that is okay.
No,
So, we were talking about like, as you know, the topic of the conversation right now is how to move over or get over something. And for Calypso, it was a relationship. And with you, with the form that you had filled in, you had said that it was about drug addiction.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been having this conversation about how Calypso got over her relationship and how she actually got into it. So I would like to ask you also a similar question, like how did your relationship with drug addiction start, and what was the duration like, and what was the point where you felt like you finally had to like get over it and move on, and like what made it break for you?
All right. Well, it started when I was 16 with alcohol. Um, and I just loved it right from the beginning. Like and sometimes they say that you cross like a imaginary threshold, like when you become like an addict or an alcoholic. I'm pretty sure I crossed it the first night because I wanted to do it every day from that point on. Which I just thought it was the
Yeah,
best thing.
can you come a little
Um,
closer to the mic? There is
yeah. So basically, it just can you hear me better now?
yeah,
Okay. I was saying like they'd say like sometimes you cross like an imaginary threshold, like we become an alcoholic or addict, and I basically feel like I crossed that immediately. Um, but yeah, I quickly turned into like smoking weed, doing other drugs like cocaine, heroin, oxycontin, methamphetamine, and this went on for years. I did get sober when I was 22. I'm 37 right now, but I didn't stay sober. So at 22, I ended up staying sober for 4 years. I, built my life up. I had started a rehab, a detox for people here in Dana Point, California. Um, but I wasn't doing the things I needed to be doing spiritually. So eventually ended up relapsing and going, within 4 years, I pretty much lost everything. I was selling fentanyl, a lot of it. I ended up getting caught doing that and sentenced to 4 years in prison. Even after that, I still got out and kept doing the same thing for a little bit. But that was kind of the breaking point right there. And this is just a short story of it. Um, so basically, I was alone. I had my own place. I had my own car. I had money, but it was the the thing worse than even getting sentenced to prison, I don't even know, it might even be worse than death, is just being alone, playing in your own victimhood, or you're the victim of everything, and isolated from everybody. That was the breaking point, and I either wanted to die or I was going to change.
Mm.
And
Well, I'm glad you changed.
Thank
yeah,
you. Me too. Me too. Yeah, because I mean that's all it is. That's all life is. It's every just every moment you have a choice to make or a decision, and really, if you really want to, if it's important enough to you, you can make a different decision and change your whole life. I mean, and then you also have to change your perception on things. Like you can be, I don't even care if you're homeless on the streets. If you have a good perception about your life, you can have a good life. You don't have to have tons of money. You don't. You can have tons of money and be miserable, but
Yeah, yes.
if you have a good outlook on the things, like you know what, and I actually one of the most important things is just being grateful.
Mhm.
Like, what are you grateful for today? I mean,
yeah,
I do that every day. Like, I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful for the coffee. I'm grateful I have a job. It's just these things like, and if you really see it like that, and you're around positive people, you're kind to people, you're gonna get that back in return.
That's true.
It is. It's 100% true. I mean, I see it every day. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just, it's amazing. It's amazing how you can go from one thing to the other. And I'm not saying it happens overnight, but it's all about the actions you take toward it.
That's true. One day at a time. One day at a time.
You're right. That's it. That's it. One day at a time.
yeah. So, you said that you like finally the last time that you got sober was around what age?
I was 35.
35. Okay. And
Yeah, 35.
since then, like I would say, other than gratitude, what are the kind of daily actions you take so that you don't like? I'm
So,
sure there must be moments where you feel the urge again. So to fight that urge, what are the things that you do in your life currently?
I mean, tell you the truth, I don't really have any urges. I mean, if they do, it's extremely fleeting, but it hardly ever happens. So here's what I do. I get up, and basically one of the first things I do is I get on my knees and pray and thank God for another day. Um, and I start my day, but I would honestly, so if I could just break it down like in a short way, I would suggest anyone in addiction just go to AA or NA, do the 12 steps. And I'm not talking about the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, it's not just going to a meeting. That's actually not even the steps. It's actually the steps like one, you admitted to God and to or admitted that we're powerless over alcohol or drugs, whatever it is, because alcohol is a drug type. It's actually probably one of the worst drugs. Admit we're powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. The second one is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Three, we came uh, it became willing to turn our thoughts and our actions over to the care of God as we understood Him. Four, made a certain and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Um, five is admitted that searching and fearless moral inventory. Six, became willing to have God remove all our shortcomings. Seven is uh,
Right.
yeah, it goes on. Then you have to make a amends list. You have to make amends to people that you hurt in the past. Um, and then you continue to take personal inventory, you pray and meditate. And basically, then in the end, you help the person that's still struggling. And that just kind of becomes your life, but it's not like it becomes like something you want to do. So it's basically, it's not even like anybody in the world, I don't care if you're an alcoholic or addict, could do those steps and basically you're just choosing a better life. And then you have like the separate part of it, which is like fellowship. So now I got like good friends, that actually care about me instead of people that just want to use me or I want to use them. Um, and when you're doing all that drug stuff, and that's all it is, it's a very selfish person. You have to learn how to become selfless.
So,
Yeah.
you mentioned community, and I just want to ask both of you, any of you can start that. Was there a particular impact that the people around you had when you were going through these journeys? And like, what was the role of the people, your community basically, that helped you move to where you are right now?
You want to go first?
Sure. Uh, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like everybody around me and my life. I mean, I also go to like church too, and like help the homeless people there. But like in AA, I mean, everybody just wants to help you out. They don't want anything in return. Let's say they don't. They literally don't want anything. They just want to see you do good. Um, and it's just really like the positivity. I mean, obviously, everybody's gonna make their own choices, and a lot of people make bad choices. Go back out there and do their thing, but the ones that actually stick around and do it are, I don't know, they're just great people. Like, that's who you want to stick around, the people, positive people. Um, I mean, there's people that have been doing this for 40, 50 years. Or just, and I'm not saying they're any better than a person with 30 days sober or 5 days sober, but they have a little more knowledge about doing it. But uh, it's just they literally, that's probably the best part. There's not, it's free. It's a free, they're not looking for anything. They're literally there because they want to be there.
So I guess with my community or whatever, I'm I'm pretty much a lone wolf, and I've pretty much been that way my whole life. And well, I had military friends and stuff like that. I'm a veteran, so like the people that I build relationships with in the military, few of them I'm still friends with to this day, and other ones, we grow up, we grow apart, things happen, and that is what it is. But as far as like my healing journey, stuff like that, I feel like when you're on your healing journey, yeah, it's great to have people, but you still have to do your self reflecting and you still have to, go in and how it's basically a retrieval of that point in your life of where, things started going different for you. Like me, I always say if you could go back to your 7-year-old self or when everything went to shit. So let's say like 7, 8 years old. Like what was happening at your life at that time? Or what would you tell your 7-year-old self you about the future or whatever? A- And that's how I'm like, you know what? We've been through some shit, but we made it out on the other side. And if like I didn't have God, I didn't have like my journey and I wasn't secure in my faith, then there probably wouldn't be a Calypso right now. So like I think like having I don't care who you worship or whatever faith that you have, like you have to have a strong faith base. So then that way, and even if you do have a support system, you have a support system too, that's great. Some people don't. So whatever gets you through or helps you or to make you realize like, listen, I'm here for a reason. And like you have to take the good with the bad, because like, the community is the community, and they're going to be the community. So you have the good apples in your community, and you have the bad apples in your community. But you know, at the end of the day, you just have to align yourself with people who want to see the best for you, I guess. That's
Uh,
it.
is there like any particular advice you would have for, as you said, you would talk to your 7-year-old self? Is there any advice that you would have for the person that was stuck in that situation? And if you could talk to your version, like for Rocco, it would be the 16-year-old version, I guess. If you could talk to him, is there any
Mhm.
specific thing that you would want to say?
Well, I sure there's things I would want to say, and it's kind of cool because actually I do get to say them to people that are like 20 years old and they're struggling or they're just starting this journey. I can tell them. I mean, it's just not worth it. It's just a dead end street. Literally, I've never seen one person come out of it uh, and make it work. There's no make it work. They either go to prison, they're institutionalized, they go to psych wards, or they die. That's it. So those are like four choices. Uh, so I would look at myself and say, which one do you want? Do you want one of those four, or do you want a great life? I mean, there's even like a part in like the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and says, and this is kind of crazy because it really resonated with me because, and I'm sure it does with any person like me. It says, to live on a spiritual basis or to be doomed to an alcoholic death are not always easy alternatives to face for us. And that's true. Like basically the quote is saying, would I rather live a good life or would I rather die a miserable life? And but for like the alcoholic, it's kind of a tough choice because you're like, well, I really don't know what the spiritual thing is. And I just know that what I'm doing seems to kind of work sometimes. And that's all I really know. But when you put it in terms like that, it's like, basically, it's just, are you choosing life or death? I mean, it seems like a simple choice, but it's very difficult for a lot of people. But yeah, I would just tell them stuff like that. It's just, there's no hope in it. And I would also tell them, you can feel better than any drugs ever made you feel just by being sober and doing the right thing. Like you can feel better and it'll last longer and you don't even have to come down off of it. Just living life. I would try and explain that to him. I don't know if my 16-year-old self would get it, but that's what I would tell him.
Man.
Being honest, I remember being 16 and like I was like, I
Like,
tried
don't
this
tell me
at
what to
19. I remember I thought it
do.
was crazy. I thought it was
Yeah,
crazy. I was like, you guys are nuts.
yeah.
You don't want
Well,
me to
you're 16.
do anything
We
for the
don't,
rest of my life? And they were
right?
like, yeah, like you can't. And I was like, that you guys are nuts. But I see it now, so I don't know. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah. So, I guess my advice as far as like relationships go, I guess I'm the relationship part. um, my advice is when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. It's like sometimes like we want to see the good in everybody, and everybody has good within them, but I'm moving forward in my relationships. Like I'm gonna be more cautious, and when that red flag comes up, I'm not gonna try to paint it white. I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna either address it or I'm gonna walk away from it because I'm not gonna go back to things that I prayed myself and work through to start all over. Because it's just like at the end of the day, you have to think about like, is it worth me losing all the progress that I made? on working on myself and healing myself. And it's like, if it's, I always say the 5 by 5 rule. If it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, then I'm not going to spend 5 minutes worrying about it. So I just live it at that. And I try not to go, well, I don't like to go to bed angry with people. And I don't like to um, beat a dead horse, about things. So it's just like, if we're in a relationship, if it can't be solved with like a slice of cake or some pie and some coffee, then, there needs to be some reevaluation. But um, just not rushing, just take your time. It's a marathon, not a race. And like with the story of the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise wins because he takes his time and he learns the lessons along the way. So just because somebody does it first doesn't mean it's necessarily right. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. Everybody has their own pace. So
Yeah.
I was just take your time.
So, like in the other form where people are still in a situation where they want to move on from. I had received a few questions, so is it okay that I ask them now?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So one of them has asked if this ever subsides and will they ever be free of it? And I guess both of you were great examples of the fact that it is something that you can get over and be free of.
Yeah. Yeah. Pain is
Yeah.
temporary.
100%. Yeah. And it
And
could one,
yeah, pain is temporary.
but
It's gonna hurt like hell in the beginning. But as time goes on, like, give yourself like daily affirmations, or you take like a quote for somebody that you admire or whatever. Like, I love Dr. Seuss. So it's like those that matter don't matter and those that matter don't mind. So um I look at that too. And I always know at the end of the day I have to be true within myself and I have to be comfortable in the decisions that I make. So when you're sad, yeah, you're sad and you're mourning the ending of something that you thought was forever. But you have to think about, what will it cost you later if you continue to hold on to something that you know is no good for you and you keep holding on to it when you want to be you're you won't some people are either bitter or they get better. So it hurts, but that's part of growing. Like, for you to grow, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's gonna suck for a little bit, but it does get better.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say 100% can get over it. I mean, you just have to change the things you're doing. You really have to kind of change everything. If you're gonna keep doing the same things, you're gonna hang around the same people, you're gonna end up with the same results. If you keep doing the same actions you're doing, you're gonna get the same results. But if you just change who you're hanging out with and change your perspective on things, I mean, it's gonna be hard at first, and it's gonna be really awkward, and you're gonna think all these things I'm doing are really strange and weird and not fun. And you just gotta keep that contradictory action. Basically, first thing the first thought you have is probably gonna be wrong. And you just gotta do the opposite of it. Like, you'll wake up in the morning and be like, I don't want to get out of bed. Well, you're gonna get out of bed. Or I wanna go do I don't wanna go to this meeting or whatever. You should go anyways. And you just keep doing the contrary until you want to do it. Honestly, that's the key. Um, and these little things what you do, like even making your bed in the morning is like kind of like a first thing where it's like, okay, you completed your first goal of the day. And the goals completing a goal gives you a little bit of confidence. And you just keep pushing. Honestly, it's little steps that turn into a big one. I don't even know if it's a big one. It's just a bunch of little steps, really. But eventually you get to I don't know if you ever really get to your goal, because I always want to try to be a better person. Like I try to think of myself in like 10 years and I try to be that person, but that person's still always going to be 10 years away. So I can always do better.
That's true.
And there's also this one thing like these relationships or addiction of any kind, it becomes like a habit when you're living it. And we all of us have a very difficult time, I think, breaking habits that we are very used to, we are comfortable with. So as you said, that there's a conscious effort for with like low maintenance goals at first and then moving on to creating a compounding effect or something. So is there any particular advice that you would have to sort of like a break a habit and to start building a new one from there on?
And they say it takes 21 days to break a habit. And I'm a firm believer in that because the first you have to make that conscious effort and be like, just like he said, make your bed every day. That's one thing. But if you make your bed every single day for 21 days and moving forward, when you get out of bed, what are you going to do? Your mind's going to like make the bed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do I do? Just like I told you, every morning I get up, I do my meditation, I do my prayer, I do my post. I started that on my healing journey. So I've been consistently doing that for 195 days. So every morning I post on Substack, but and I post on an app called Sincerely. So um, every single day, without fail, rain, snow, sleet, or shine, I post every single day because I know, like, if my words can be helpful to one person, then that's good, or whatever. But I don't care about the accolades. I just post because it just is something that makes me feel good on the inside.
Mm.
Because, like, there's maybe somebody out there who doesn't have anybody, or somebody who a lot of us are built on like what other people think, and they don't have that person that they can be unapologetically raw with. So that's why I just post and I just let the Lord's work do whatever it's gonna do. I just let it fly. But 21 days, if you do something, just like, or if you have a hard time with something, make like short little like milestones. Like, okay, every day for 4 days, I'm gonna do this at this time, or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure I get done with that. And when they say, okay, so the 4 days come, okay, I think I can do 2 more days. And then the next 2 more days, okay, I think I can add another 2 days. And it's just all about consistency and repetition.
Uh, I completely agree with you 100%. Whatever you said, I pretty much say exactly the morning. I don't. I've actually posted my little writing today, but I do a writing every morning, and I usually send it to a couple people. I also make a gratitude list, and I send it to a few people. But I'm in 100% agreement with her. That's exactly what you need to do.
There was also this one question from someone that said, like they want to talk to the person who left them and ask them, why did you have to do that to me? What did I do to deserve that? So, in a way that they're asking for closure from the other person. So, do you think that the other person can actually give closure to them, or is it something that is an internal work that they have to do?
So um when you're looking for closure for someone or whatever, sometimes there sometimes there's closure, sometimes there's not. But in that point, what you can do is forgive them for yourself, because you can't force someone to see what you see. You can't force somebody to be like, I apologize for being a douchebag or do whatever I did to you, because in their mind, like, we're not all the same. So in their mind, they're probably like thinking, oh, well, I took this person on a trip. I took this person on a vacation. Why aren't they appreciative? Or, because all of our love languages are different. So maybe what works for you doesn't work for that person. So you can't like expect them to be like, oh, I'm sorry, or see the way that you see it. Because, once you forgive them for yourself, that takes the pressure off of you and that takes the monkey off your back. You still can heal. It doesn't not hurt less, but you've forgiven that person and you start working to move on with your life. And maybe like sometimes people get apologies years down the line. And then, but you can't hold yourself back and hold your life and your growth back waiting on someone to apologize to you.
Yeah, I agree too. You can't control anybody else. You can only control yourself and what your thoughts are and your reactions are. And so I totally agree. And we can forgive that person and just let it go, then you know what? You'll probably be free of that burden. And she's right. People come, maybe they'll never come back. Maybe they'll never say anything, but that's not the point. You cleaned up your side of the story.
Mhm.
And okay, so there is this last thing that I want to ask. Like, so whenever people are breaking their habits, some of them choose to do it cold turkey, like nothing from today onwards, and I'm moving on from this habit, and I'm just done with this. And other people do it like slowly in the form of like I did this thing 4 times a day. I texted that person 4 times a day. I drank 4 glasses of alcohol, and then I'm going to move from 4 to 3, and then lesser and lesser than that. So, is there any particular approach that you think works better for people, or is it just like subjective to the person who is working at it?
I mean, I know for the addiction part, so I see a lot of people who get on methadone or Suboxone or they're just basically like AIDS. And then they're stuck on those for years and years and years and never get off that. Or, and I don't think it's even possible to taper down, honestly. I think that's just kind of like you trying to control the situation, but it never really worked. I, I don't actually, I don't think I've ever seen a little. Um, I think it's going to be really tough, but I mean, I did it. I know I came off methadone, fentanyl, methamphetamine, everything all at once, and I just threw it in the trash. And I was sick for 35 days, and it was horrible, but I did it. And I look back on that, and I was like, that was the best decision I ever made because I still kind of like work in treatment too. So I see all these people come in and they take Suboxone, and they all end up going back out. They all because they're not clear headed. I mean, I always I suggest that they just stop. I'm like, hey, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, it is. It is like a month of like hell, but it's only a month. I mean, it's 1 month of your life. So, just deal with it. I'm gonna work with you. You're gonna be fine. Whatever you need, you have everything provided for. But people sometimes just can't see that. But so my suggestion is, yeah, just to stop. I mean, if you can get into like a treatment place to stop or a detox, way better. It's much harder on your own. Um, it's much harder because you're just able to, whatever, go out to the streets or get you up your cell phone and just call somebody and bring it over. That's made it much harder. But my suggestion is, yeah, get rid of all the people that are, messing up your life too. Like, the people that you're hanging out with, like friends, new people. I mean, I do suggest they probably go to like a detox first, but and if they really want to, if the pain's enough, they will. But it's a hard thing. But yeah, my suggestion is just stop. Just stop and you gotta go to a 12-step meeting. And those people there will help you out. Like they want to help you out. So you just have to ask for help. I say like, the only bad question is the one that's not it.
That is true.
So for you also, Calypso, you that like complete removal from
Mm,
that habit is better.
Yeah, because
uh,
if you're gonna hang
really?
around people that are using, or if you're gonna use a little bit, you're not gonna do that. Like a heroin addict, or I don't care what drug you're using, alcoholic, when you're physically addicted to it, as soon as you start to feel bad, you're gonna be like, oh, well, I know how to feel better. Or just taper down. It's just impossible because your mind's not gonna let you do it. You almost have to be removed from your situation. Like to me,
Yeah.
it was going to prison. I was
Mhm.
removed from the situation.
Yep. And
I
you can't
mean,
heal from places where you're hurting.
yeah. So, and then it's always in your head too. Like even when you're like, it's a constant stress. And it's, okay, I got this much left. I have to make it last till Thursday. So I'm going to use a little less every day. But Wednesday comes and you're out. So you're just going to go get more. You're going to figure out a way to get more. I don't care if it's somebody making money or if you have to go steal it. You're going to figure it out and you're going to get it. And if you put half as much energy into figuring out how to get high as getting in to get sober, I mean, you're going to be successful. You don't have to put half the energy in. You can put tenth, 1/10 of the energy in. I swear, I put in so much energy into getting high, and I put a lot of energy in my recovery now. But getting started, like you don't need just put a tenth in, and you'll be good. I mean, it's just I actually somebody kind of told me the other day because he was like, if it was important to somebody, like people are always like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm sorry I didn't call you, or I missed that. I missed that. He was like, if I told you to call me every day at 4:30 for 2 weeks and I'd give you $1 million, he's like, you would be on the freaking phone every week or every day at 4:30. At 4:29, you'd be telling everybody around you, hey, be quiet, be quiet. I got to make this phone call. You know, you would make it happen because it would be important to you.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it like that. Is it important to you? I don't know. Maybe it isn't. So it is to me.
Right. Yeah. So, um, on my side, I guess with relationships, it depends on the situation because, like, if you're not financially able to get out of that situation, then you have to plan.
Yeah.
Like, if you if there's kids involved, that's a little more trickier too, because you have to figure out like, okay, how are they going to go to school? If there's lots of variables. So it's with relationships. It's not just a one answer fits all. It depends on the situation. Like me, I don't. My kids are adults, and I don't have any. The only small kid I have here is my 3-year-old dog. So, but
Yeah,
that's about it. So, and he runs my life, so he's the man of the house. But as far as like relationships go, it's just you have to be um that's like oh I'll put it like this. That's just like you being in a domestic situation, you know? And your friends know, everybody knows, and one of your friends is like, "You should just leave him. You should just leave him. Just get your shit and let's go." But your friend doesn't know like everything. They know a part of the story. And you have to make a conscious decision like, okay, I gotta do this, you have to make a plan. So it's like, or people ask you, why don't you get tired of this? Don't you get tired of that? No one can make you be tired of the situation but you. And then when you're ready to change, you'll change. So that's why some people stay in relationships, stay in marriages, stay in addictions or whatever, because they're not ready to change. But when the day, like, he said when he was ready to change, he threw everything away and went cold turkey. And that was when he had his, how they said, you come to Jesus meeting or you meet at the crossroad. and you're like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to suffer like that. I don't want to go through this relationship anymore. I don't want to be embarrassed anymore. I don't want to be, taken for granted anymore. Whatever your I don't want to be, whatever that is for you, you have to get to that point. So I was like, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you're going to do something about it. So, and that's, you can't just really say is like, do this, do that. It's when you make the decision that enough is enough for you.
Is there any particular piece of advice in mainstream media that you think gets the situation so wrong that you just want to shout at them and tell them, this is not how it works, it's actually like this? That is not advice for anyone going through this situation.
Mm,
Mm.
I think the whole cliche of hurt people hurt people. Yeah, that's true. But also hurt people heal others because, they've been through it, and you don't have to be a product of what hurt you. You don't have to go bleeding on people who didn't cut you either. So you have to be, I always follow the golden rule, treat people the way I want to be treated. So, um, you like, yeah, someone could have hurt you, but that doesn't mean you hurt the next person because they didn't deserve it. And, if you're not healed within whatever hurt you, then don't, I don't think like, personally, people say like, you can tell who was the problem in the relationship based on who went to the next relationship and who's still single after the breakup. So you have to think of it like that. Cause like if you were the problem because, we're all a villain in somebody's story. So you have to think of it like, okay, I may be the villain in their story, but there's always three sides to a story. There's their story, your story, and the truth. So I just think just treat people the way you want to be treated, and don't hurt people, or just be honest. And that's how I look at it.
So basically, I think this kind of applies to everybody. Uh, I heard this the other day too. Like, maybe I even read it on the thing. It said, it basically an easy life is gonna make your life hard. When you try to do everything easy or you try to cut corners, your life's gonna end up being harder. When you choose to do things the hard way, and you work towards it, your life's gonna be easier. And I feel like the media portrays that everything should be easy and free and given to you. And I just totally disagree with that. I think you need to work hard to get what you want. And when you put in the effort, you're gonna get to see the benefits. When you do everything easy and you expect a handout, and you're not gonna get it, you're gonna be disappointed and be like, you're gonna fall back to that you know, selfishness and just like why me and that again playing the victim. You know?
Mhm.
That's one thing I hate. It's when people play the victim. It's just like it's just such a selfish way of living, and like I just make the choices to better your life. So that's what I got.
Okay. I think that's about it. Is there anything else that both of you, either of you, would like to add to address people?
No,
No.
I'm here. So whenever, like, if you have questions or whatever, you can always message me on here or wherever. Find me wherever. If you're on social medias, I'm Jupiter's Landings, and that's on Instagram and Facebook, and that's about it. Really, I don't know. Like, just don't beat yourself up because you know what, and you have to be uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable to grow. So if we're not growing, we're not doing anything, we're staying stagnant and we're not learning. So learn something new every day and be, be kind because you never know what the next person's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, pretty much everything. Yeah. Again, I agree with her. Be kind and loving towards all, and you know,
No.
your most important step is the next one you make.
Agreed.
That is amazing. Thank you. I